Good afternoon and welcome back to Knights of Chiefs Kingdom. And how about those Chiefs? Today we have Emily Broadway again.
Woohoo!
And after our Thanksgiving break, we're back now. So far we have 5 wins after beating the Super Bowl 56 champions, and that Super Bowl hungover is hitting all right with the Rams at 3-8.
Yeah, well, also included is their quarterback being out, having a first, someone start their first ever game.
Mm-hmm.
And
Cooper Kupp.
you have two receivers, both Kupp and Allen Robinson.
Mm-hmm.
Both were out. Apparently, Aaron Donald, we broke him. Apparently, he now has a high ankle sprain and is questionable for this week's game.
Mercy.
So, yeah.
I mean, if you think about the last time they played us, that was one of the best NFL regular games in NFL history.
Yeah, but the teams have looked so different
since 2008. So, yep.
Well, that's 2018.
2018.
I mean, Patrick Mahomes is still our quarterback, and we still had Andy Reid, and they had Sean McVay. But they also had Jared Goff, who's now with the Lions. Our defense then was definitely very bottom, and that's been revamped. And this year, our defense, it's not getting the recognition it deserves.
And today we're going to give it that recognition because Nick Bolton is one of the top defenders in the NFL, in our opinion. He's been how many interceptions has he been getting?
I'm going to look it up real quick.
Okay, because I know last week on Sunday when Mohomes threw an interception in the red zone, that made me a little concerned, but I think it was literally 2 plays after they turned it over right to back to the Chiefs, back to the Rams. I think it was towards the 30-yard line.
It was actually in the end zone, I believe.
End zone? I was talking about when they intercepted back to us. It was Willie, what's his name, Gay?
Willie Gay?
Yeah, I think it was Gay who caught it.
For some reason, I was thinking Snead, but I could be wrong.
No, it was Snead who caught it. Yeah, it was Snead who caught it. I don't know. Gay kind of was injured in the first part of the game, and then he had to come off the sideline, and then
But he came back, though.
Which I was surprised, but I was happy to see that.
Well, there were a couple other defensive players that I remember being taken off. I think Snead, I know at least that during the Chargers, and I think he also did this game, too, where he got injured. But then he came back.
Yep.
Which is good to see. Oh, and Nick Bolton so far has 2 this season. 2 interceptions this season.
That's very good. And then I'm trying to think who's that other receiver who we traded from the Giants. Tony is his
he
hamstring.
He's still out. Apparently, according to Andy Reid, he is getting better, though, at least. I don't know if he'll be available for this game. But we do have good news. Thornhill was injured this past game. He is back to practice along with Joe Thuney.
That's really good.
So, because we had our backup offensive lineman against Aaron Donald. He actually did a pretty nice job, though. So.
Yep. And surprisingly about this Bengals game coming up, they were able to beat the Titans, and when we played against the Titans this season, their coverage was really tight. Mohomes literally had to run for his life for a touchdown. But I feel like we're going to learn from 2 lost games from the Bengals, and hopefully we can beat them this Sunday.
Well, as far as, what was I going to say? That Rams game, my biggest concern is the red zone offense. Something we've been good all year, but we had 6 trips to it. Only 1 resulted in a touchdown. Thank you, Harrison Butker. 2nd straight game, he's made all of his kicks.
They were beautiful kicks.
And it was nice. It's good to see him 100%, and this is his 100%.
Yep. instead of week 1 when he injured his ankle. And
it was a little rough getting him fully back, but he's back. He made us our points. He was one of the biggest reasons why we pretty much dominated the game.
Mm-hmm.
Also, George Karlaftis, furious George, trying to go after a man with a partially yellow hat.
Yeah.
He got his first full career sack in his career, so.
Mm-hmm.
And it was beautiful. He just rushed right through the offensive line, just got him. After we allowed them to go like 20 yards forward, I think this was like after the fake punt, and just pushed him back like 20 yards, and it was beautiful.
Yeah, it sure was. It reminded me when Derek Thomas was part of the Chiefs. I was like, Derek Thomas' spirit, please come upon the defenders. Use one of our players and just sack that quarterback. And I was like, oh, it's George.
Yep. I mean, like, our entire defensive line, like, I know, like, Frank Clark isn't getting the amount of sacks I think anyone really wants, but he's had a lot of pressures, and everyone's like, oh, well, sacks mean you finish it. Well, if you get pressure, though, on the quarterback, though, that means you're completely pressuring them to make a decision fast. And that's what you want, because that can cause chaos and can, they throw it out. They can make a good throw, but, so it's beautiful. And you also have Chris Jones.
Yeah.
Kalen Saunders has had some good games. Carlos Dunlap, beautiful. Mike Dana, beautiful.
Yeah, it's been much better than the past years.
Oh, yes.
So I mean, we're still number 1 seed in the AFC, and we want to strive to keep that number 1 seed. I'm just happy to see that the Buffalo Bills are number 6.
Yeah, the unfortunate thing is, though, in order for us to really be, because I definitely do not want Patrick Mahomes playing Week 18 against a second matchup against the Broncos. So I'm hoping that in order for us to be fully safe, we obviously have to win out, obviously.
Right.
But then we also have to make sure the Dolphins lose and the Bills lose, because they're both at the same record, and they're both 1 game right below us. So
we're getting close.
So this week, I'm definitely a Patriots fan. I am definitely a 49ers fan. I'm a Raiders fan for them beating Chargers. Yes, I'm Gus. Yeah. But that's because if the Chargers continue losing and we continue winning,
we'll sail off the AFC West.
AFC West will probably be clinched like the next week after. So as long as we win that game, so.
Yep, as divisional leader.
So yeah, no, I just want those matchups to go in our favor. So yeah.
Yeah. Let's also talk about that Vikings versus Bills game. Did we ever talk about that? No, I don't think we did.
Was that the week before Thanksgiving? The week we played the Chargers?
I think it was. I think it was a Monday Night Football game.
I didn't think it was Monday night. I thought it was
Sunday.
I thought it was played in normal time because
Actually,
and the Chargers were. I think it was played the same week. We did not talk about the Chargers game.
Yeah, we didn't.
And they played, I think, right before actually, because we were the primetime game.
That's true.
Because I think that one got flexed into primetime because it was Steelers versus Bengals. But surprisingly, it was only a 7-point game. Hats off to the Steelers.
Yeah, and about that Chargers game, it was a little close for an AFC West matchup. I thought, they gave Mohomes a whole minute to just take his time. And Chargers need to know, 13 seconds. That's all we need as the Chiefs.
Well, I mean, see, these AFC West games, yes, our division right now is very lacking. But they're always going to be competitive, the games. There's always a fire to them. They're pretty much like us and Friends, Right. There's fire to it.
Especially that Raiders game.
Oh, yeah, no, the fact that they were up so,
the biggest choke.
Them and the Ravens are some of the biggest chokers. I'll get to that in a second. But, because, this AFC West spent, $500-some million just to try to rebuild their teams to beat us specifically.
Russell Wilson brought the Broncos down even further. That was the biggest. I mean, we can still argue this, but it's still the biggest steal in NFL history.
It was literally considered like an A+ grade for that trade for the Broncos, and the Seahawks was like a D-.
Yeah.
And now I think the grades are switched.
They are.
And it's just beautiful. And I don't think the Broncos like Russell Wilson.
Their own teammates are like rejecting him.
Did you see that defensive player yell at Russell Wilson against Carolina? That was. Their coach just acted like he didn't hear what he heard.
The thing about Russell Wilson is that he doesn't even talk to his own teammates. He has his like associates go talk to him.
It's through his agent, and it's like if you're the leader of a team, be a good leader. You're not being a good leader, and it's just it's rough.
Yeah, so I'm just wondering if they're going. Well, they can't really break that deal because they've already spent so much money.
It won't be until like 2026 they can get them off without much more hit of the cap space and stuff. It's just like the Raiders. They can't fire their head coach because they literally are still paying John Gruden. So there could be major changes in other areas.
It's just going to be interesting after this season's over.
They're going to be like, okay, so this failed, this failed, this failed. Okay, we need this. It'll still fail again until we don't have a Patrick Mahomes. Oh, and just a reminder, he recently his wife gave birth to the baby boy. So
yep, Bronze Mohomes the third.
So get ready for that. If he chooses to play football, he is allowed to play whatever sport he should desire, or if he wants to play sports at all.
Tom Brady's son versus Bronze Mahomes the third. Future NFL.
Oh, don't forget Archie Manning too. He's like a brother. I think it's like a brother of the Mannings, or like
because
like he's very younger. He just this year committed to Texas, and so you'll have an Archie Manning. You'll have what Tom Brady's.
I have no idea what.
Tom Brady's son, and then Bronze Mahomes. It's gonna be beautiful.
Yep. And what's pretty unique about Bronze Mahomes, the reason why they chose that name is because it was Patrick's brother just thought it was a cool name, and they actually took his advice.
Really?
Which I was shocked because...
I did not realize that came from Jackson Mahomes.
It did.
Because, well, the whole there's always speculation and conspiracy theories, you know? And low-key, I fell into this one, but... The reason why it's bronze because it's third Patrick Mahomes, Levon Mahomes the third.
Yeah, that makes sense too.
That's what I kind of just figured.
Yeah,
I'm a little shocked to hear that Jackson Mahomes came up with that.
But if you look on like KSN News or even Fox 6 from Kansas City, they've released why Patrick chose that name. He mentioned his brother.
That's beautiful.
But yeah. Let's go back to talking about passing yards. Patrick Mahomes is currently the #1 passing yards leader at 3,585 yards. And unfortunately, I like Isaiah Pacheco, but Clyde Edwards, you're going to be replaced pretty soon. Because Isaiah is roasting Clyde.
Yeah. Also, how many yards did Ronald Jones... #2, this is his first career NFL game playing.
Is he a running back?
Yes. He's #2.
Oh shoot, yeah, he did play. I thought he did like 6 plays.
I mean, how many yards do you know?
What's his name? He's a running back.
Yes.
Look real quick so it doesn't.
I just want to know for.
Oh, it's okay. What's his name again?
I think it's Ronald Jones.
Ronald Jones. Yep. He only has about 31 yards.
Okay. I mean, like, for his production, that makes sense. He did have, like, one great play, though, so I will give him credit where credit's due.
True.
it's good to see some guys stepping up. And speaking of practice squad, like because he came from the practice squad.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking on the subject, did you see some of the new signings?
One from the Broncos, and then...
Yep. Well, I mean, okay, so that one I'm not as excited for because he has, like, dropped a lot of, like, I think a fourth of his, like, catches or, like, carries. But, like, you know, it is your practice squad. You know, you can do what you want. There was also a former wide receiver. I forgot his name, but he was from the Raiders and one other team. But that one is going to be interesting. And then... This one I'm the most excited for because I saw a picture of him in the gym and he looks like a beast. I'm not going to lie. I forgot what his name, but it's a defensive lineman from the Ravens.
Okay, I did hear about that.
Yeah. No, that one I'm the most excited for because he's actually one of the best, like, run, like, defenders. I mean, like, we've done a decent job. Like, we're better at the run defense than pass defense. But, like, the more help you can have, the better.
Yep, for our defense.
And it's so beautiful, and I can't wait.
And definitely, especially for this upcoming game, we need to stop Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. They're actually rush. Okay, so it's like the Chargers game. They rush their two top wide receivers into the Chiefs game, and one of them, we injured them, and then the other one wasn't playing as 100%. We still beat them. I have a feeling that's going to be the same scenario for Jamar Chase.
Well, I saw the interesting, because they have two of their best receivers out right now. But I heard this joke of how, like, playing the Chiefs is apparently the best, like, reliever for your injuries. Because all of a sudden, these players that were injured, they're all of a sudden available and 100% healthy.
Yep.
Imagine how that works.
Honestly, they just throw in their guys who are not like 100%, and they're like, "No, guys, it's the Chiefs. We gotta just throw."
I mean, it's not
anything.
just coaches. I think player, especially when you're playing for money and like playing at that, like they want to play
that top level.
Well, it's not just about money too. Like this is their job. This is their passion. They obviously want to play.
They want to challenge.
And when you're playing the Chiefs, that's about best of the best. You know, so it's gonna be interesting. I'm excited for the challenge. I love how Bengals started a hangover, and now they're starting to very much pick it up. They've had some struggles here and there, but overall, they've absolutely improved. As long as the reffing calls can be, not one-sided. I want if you're gonna call it fair both sides. If you're not gonna call it, that's okay too, but make sure you're not calling it on both sides.
Right.
And then, like, so many things went wrong on the Bengals game, but, like, for both Bengals game, but it's the fact that they only beat us by a total of 6 points through the 2 games that we played them last year. That was very interesting stat to look at.
Right.
My thing is, though, my biggest other concern, Patrick Mohomes did not look... Did you watch the Rams game? Like full on?
Yeah, I did. He didn't look like
No,
100%.
he looks completely off, and I wonder if it's like... Maybe he knew that his wife was pretty much close to having the baby.
He was probably under pressure.
But I just haven't ever really seen him like that. And it was, like, weird. Like, the end of the game, he just had our, Pacheco running. And we've, like, run. It was just constant run. And I've never seen this team do that.
Maybe it's a diversion for the Bengals to look at the tape.
But, like... Mohomes just did not look well, and I'm just like...
I'm sure he was just under stress.
I hope... Hey, but nothing says getting over that than the birth of a new baby. Father strength times 2.
And also just probably trying to run away from Aaron Donald.
Well, I think our offensive line... I mean... They've had issues here and there, but, like, they absolutely kind of contained them for the most part, especially towards the end.
Yeah, first half I was nervous about him, but I feel like our offensive line kept it all steady. And Mohomes was mainly in the pocket.
Oh, yeah, no. It was especially when you had one of our main missing ones. We did a decent job with that. Yeah.
Yep. All right, well, I'm going to give a prediction score. I would say it's going to be 28-28, just because both.
You have a tie?
Yes.
Wow.
Just because both teams are good as of now. I mean, it could be 31-28. I just know it's going to be a close game just because I've been kind of observing the Bengals. Mm-hmm. Them beating the Titans, I feel like they're going to just go
The Titans, I watched that game. The Titans blew it. I'm sorry. The Bengals, there's games where it's like, yeah, the winning team definitely deserved to win, but then, and this is where this game comes into. There's games where I don't think the winning team deserved to win, but the losing team didn't deserve to win because they made more stupid mistakes. And the Titans, especially at the end where they had a foul on their kick, had they made the kick, they would have gotten the ball back to their quarterback. It would have made it, like, they would have won the game or tied the game, if I remember correctly, with like a minute plus. But because of that, the Bengals had a whole new set of downs, and they decided to spike the ball.
Yep, and they burned the clock.
That's, I mean, like, obviously, you know, like, other stuff happened during the game. That wasn't, like, the only mistake that was made. But, like, that was the biggest mistake, and you can't, Chiefs have to make sure they come with their best game and not make stupid mistakes like that. Right. That is the key to the Bengals. Especially since, I mean, they'll be getting players back, but we'll also be getting players back on defense and our offensive line. It will be interesting because, like, the Bengals' offensive line has been considered one of the worst. But it has been slowly improving. But it's going to be interesting because, like, last year they also were not good at all, but we couldn't get any sacks.
True.
So I would really like to see, besides us not making stupid mistakes like we did last year, where Patrick Mahomes not really having his worst blowout of a game, you know?
Right.
But, like, see how the defensive line does, because it's gonna, that I think will be what will help us win the game.
Is our defense.
Our defense, yes.
Just let the spirit of Derek Thomas flow through all of them. Chris Jones just going wild while George just goes and sacks him.
The furious George. Just remember, CEO, Sack Nation, Frank Clark the Shark. Yep. And I would also like to see what our secondary does in the defense. Because Joe Burrow will be throwing that ball. So I'd like to see...
We need interceptions. Snead and... Yes.
McDuffie, you know, just all those guys. And I'm excited to see them.
Nick Bolton. Yep.
This will be one of the biggest challenges. This, I think, besides maybe the Raiders game, these two games will be, like, the toughest in the rest. The rest, I think Chiefs should...
Yeah, we should be...
Should be able... You still have to come every week, but...
Broncos twice, one more Raiders. We've already defeated the Chargers. I think Seattle Seahawks one game.
Yep, Houston Texans is...
Yeah, oh my gosh, Houston Texans.
Yeah, so, yeah, like, we're still literally the weakest schedule left. We started with, like, one of the heaviest games based off, like, heaviest front schedule based off last year's winning percentages, but now we have the back end of where it's not that good. No one's winning, really, except for the Bengals.
Yep, so, yeah.
And then, did you see that the Broncos and Chiefs game for Week 14 got flexed out of prime time?
Yep, because they predict a blowout.
So they put the Dolphins versus Chargers on Sunday Night Football.
Which, I mean, that will be a good game.
That one's a good game.
Yeah,
but I would love to, everyone, let's give a round of applause to Russell Wilson for doing the impossible. Making Mahomes not that exciting in prime time.
Broncos country, let's ride.
No, apparently his wife invited the whole Broncos team to his birthday party recently. Only half the team showed up.
I mean, I don't blame them.
I don't either.
Yep.
Can we also talk about the other quarterback controversy in this league?
We can probably talk another time about that, if that's okay. But we can also congratulate Andy Reid on his most franchise wins in Kansas City and Arrowhead. So,
rock solid.
Yep, because he, I think he passed, what's his name, Marty Schottenheimer?
I think so.
Yep. But, yeah.
Oh, and can we also, MVP odds? Mahomes is very much in the
He's number one so far in the odds.
I think Tua actually is like, I think in my opinion, it's Mahomes versus Tua just because of stats-wise. But I think also the Eagles have had an impressive season. So, I mean, I'm not trying to ding on Hurts. Hurts is good, too.
Yeah,
and I mean, like, his rushing, his rushing is what's been helping him definitely a lot. And so, like, I think those three are really the front runners. I think Josh Allen is right behind them. So, and I would really like to see Travis Kelce get his name mentioned at least once for MVP because
he deserves all
or
those.
Him or Tyreek. I will give Tyreek too because he's having very impressive numbers.
Yeah, he's doing really great at the Dolphins.
Like, and I mean, like, no hate to Tyreek at all or anything. I'm glad to be seeing his success.
And he's helping the Dolphins out.
Oh yes, and
I've
Tua is absolutely improving too. Like. No one's giving Tua that much credit. I think he deserves credit.
Yeah, Waddle's doing good.
Oh,
They're the good duos. But I think that we're going to wrap up today. So we'll talk again next time. Thank you, Emily, for joining me today. And that concludes our channel today. How about those Chiefs?